Hello and welcome to our very first ever, and including my very first ever, side-by-side YouTube video. I'm sitting here, my name's Luke Elan, and I'm sitting here today with my good friend and partner in Iron from many years ago. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Adam Christie.
And Adam and I went to high school together and trained, I guess, somewhat together and separately. And we are starting a YouTube channel, basically for men that are 30 to 50 years old. And the reason why we're targeting that is because that's our experience and that's our perspective. We're not offering specific advice, we're sharing our opinion and experience from where we've been at with training. Adam and I have two different stories how we came to where we are with our training. For example, Adam and I were both keen bodybuilders as teenagers, then I became less keen as a bodybuilder as a teenager and then become the fat IT guy. Well, in the last 3 years, I'm actually less than I weighed in high school, Adam. I weighed myself on Friday at 92 kilos. So I went
Wow.
from 124 kilos plus, when I got too embarrassed to weigh myself, to 92 kilos. And I'm going to share my experience and my opinion on how I did that. And Adam can share his expertise and relevance with how he got to where he is. So I'd like to start, Adam, by just telling people how I went from the couch to bodybuilding today. My personal experience is I started this slowly. I'm a nerd by day, so I'm basically an IT person that sits around on my bum building websites and databases. And as a result of that, my sedent lifestyle, but my old bodybuilding eating ways, I got bigger and bigger and bigger. And my business mentor passed away when I was 38, or one of my business mentors, and I thought to myself, if I continue, I'm going to end up in that same situation. And I knew all the right things to do. You and I certainly did that as teenagers and as early adults, but I stopped doing them. And so I needed a plan to get from where I was, not morbidly obese, but quite obese, to where I am today. And today I can deadlift a couple hundred kilos, bench press my body weight, and run. But I didn't just start doing that. And so basically I set out a plan to do dieting, then a light amount of exercise, and then transition my way into this. And I think I started, ironically, Adam, with an app called Couch to 5K, which got me off my ass and incrementally training that little bit further and that little bit faster and harder every day. And I think it took me about 12 months before I was even confident going back into the gym. Yeah, and so I think I did this step by step, piece by piece, and started from being the overweight, obese guy who couldn't walk out of sight on a dark night to a person that could run 5K in half an hour. And I had that as sort of a measurement to say I was ready to go back to training. Where do you stand on training, Adam? If a guy has this midlife crisis, I'm looking bad in my underpants, I don't like looking at myself, how do you think in your experience, what would you do to go about going from being on the couch to being on the gym? Like, is what I did a sensible approach to doing this, or do you have a
Well,
different approach?
I think you've got to be careful. You can't just go from couch straight out to full-on training, obviously,
Yeah,
for a variety of reasons. One, you won't be able to do it. Two, at this age, you'll probably hurt yourself.
yep,
So I think one of the first things you should do, if you haven't done it for a while, and as much as I hate saying this, the sensible thing to do is just get a checkup with the doc, make sure everything's okay. And then, of course, once you start training, whichever way you decide to go about it,
yep,
to slowly ease into it initially. One of the things I found at this age compared to when I was 20 and even early 30s is that recovery is just so much slower now. So at this age, if you are going to start a new program, even if you have experience in exercise and you've done
like
it,
I did. I was quite experienced, like I knew exactly what to do, but I knew
yeah,
if I just had this great flash of inspiration that I would be sore all of the time, and
yeah.
I wouldn't want to do it anymore.
Did you
So
take it? Did you take it slowly though? Did you sort
there.
of ease into it, or did you go full on straight away?
I made two decisions. The first decision I made was I'm not going to start training till I feel comfortable with my weight. So I think I started training at around 110 kilos. So I'd already lost 15 kilos, and I had the capacity.
When you say training, what do you mean though?
Oh, okay, I'll be specific. So before I started doing any form of exercise at all, that was just walking, I'd lost around 15 kilos, and I
Okay,
did
through
that all
dieting
through
alone.
dieting.
Yeah.
Exactly. From once I'd lost that 15 kilos, I then did a program of walking and I'm specific about walking and then jogging. And I saw my doctor first of all because at 40 things start going wrong in your body. I
Yeah.
got a blood test, I got checked out. The doctor says, look, you can walk. Anybody can just about walk, but you still needed to see me in the first place, which I
Yeah.
think is very important to find an understanding doctor. And then I did that couch to 5K thing, and that took about 2 months, I think, to be able to
Yeah.
go from walking through to running a 5 kilometers. And I still felt like quite sore after it, Adam. It's very incremental.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I could do that 5K did I decide to start going to gym again because I felt I needed to have some level of fitness before I felt comfortable doing that. So,
Yeah.
and that took about a year, I reckon, to go from the whole thing from when I was 124 to before
Yeah.
I started going to the gym. Actually, it took 18 months before I
Yeah.
started going to the gym. And in the meantime, I just started walking. Because if you don't do an exercise that's repeatable, going to gym isn't repeatable when you first start out. You'll just stop
No.
doing it.
Yeah.
So,
So that's actually quite a long time when you think about it, 18 months to go through that process.
yep.
And I think that's important to note because I know from my experience and all the training I did at a younger age, I would expect it to happen a lot quicker than that.
Oh, sure.
So I think,
2 weeks and I
at
would have
the
been
age
able
of
to run
40, you need
5Ks.
to, sorry?
If I was 20, it probably would have taken to go from the couch to 5K 2 weeks, not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're much more able to do that. And I'm not saying be soft on yourself. I'm just saying you need to. And one of the things I probably didn't do a lot when I was younger and had problems as a consequence is you really need to listen to your body. You really need to monitor it a lot better at this age. And so even now, recently, with my training, I've decided that, and with the muscle tear that I had a couple of weeks ago, I've now decided that I'm not going to do weights 2 days in a row. I'm going to do a day of weights. The day after, if I'm not going to do weights, I'll do exercise, cardio, some form of exercise. If there's weight involved, it'll be a lightweight or rowing or something different. And that's just to avoid overstressing the muscle because I just think I'm going to have to do that these days.
Well, what I do differently, Adam, is I don't actually have a program. A lot of people at our age would say, I need to exercise to a regime or a program at the gym. Like you,
Yeah,
I listen to my body. I like to train my weak body parts, which would be my shoulders, twice a week if I can, if they're not feeling bad. So I might do that at the start of the week and then do that again at the end of the week. But what I won't do is go Monday's chest night, Tuesday's arms, Wednesday's shoulders, Thursday's
yeah,
legs, Friday's back, because I've got to take into account, am I sore? And if I'm sore, I'm not training that part. This is not my job. I'm not trying to compete as a professional bodybuilder, but I am at some stage wanting to do men's physique either this month or in March. But I still have to listen, sorry, in October and March. But I still have to listen to my body in order to train. And I don't think it's enough to follow an app on my phone or to have a logbook. And I don't go in there with a set of exercises that I'm going to do. I know approximately what I'm going to do just from experience, but again, I make a judgment call. Is this shoulder too sore to train like this? Is this delt going to be able to work like I want? Because ironically, at our age, and I'm 40, shoulders become a real problem for both of us. I think we both got shoulder issues, and I wondered how we caused those. Was it just overworking them as teenagers, or was this just happens to 40-year-old blokes?
no, I suspect it's your original point is that all that heavy lifting in the younger years
Yep.
has taken its toll, wear and tear. We've worn our joints a bit more than the average person would just through all that heavy lifting, and so I've always expected to have bad shoulders and bad knees at this age, and it's starting to, bear fruit, as you know
Yep.
as well.
Well,
So
the difference with me is I went and found a doctor, a really good GP who has a sports background, and they said you don't have to stop training, but you got to train differently.
yeah,
And that's ultimately what I've been doing now. So I've been training around the shoulder injury. Around the shoulder injury. I can't say shoulder and surgery or shoulder and sore together. I've been training around my bad shoulder rather than trying to train through the pain of it. So
yeah. I think for us at this stage of our lives, it's not about deadlifting a car or
no,
leg pressing a car, I should say. I don't think we ever deadlifted a car, but or
I had a guy tell me the
curling.
other day I was lifting up a small motorbike and I didn't have the heart to tell him that I'd already taken off 40 kilos.
Yeah,
It's like never ride a
I
motorbike.
think. I think we both want to, lift decent weights, and if we're benching our body weight for many reps and, doing the things we do, I don't want to do all those ridiculously heavy lifts again.
No.
I've spent too much time doing that already at this age. I just want to feel good, look good, and be healthy.
And you know what? I think it's really important that people our age realise that this isn't a weightlifting competition. It's a whatever it is that you want to do competition, and that might sound silly, but I see a lot of the younger guys at the gym going, "Look, can't you lift more?" And it's like, I can, but what's the point? I'm trying to achieve an outcome. For me, sadly, it's just looking good naked or aesthetics. Like I've passed the healthy stage.
Having said that, it's hard recently going to the gym at a busy time. It's hard not to feel the competitive juices flowing and want to just go, you know what, I can bench more than you.
Yeah. No, I can't bench more than people. My shoulders are too bad, but I can deadlift more than most people. Some of the teenagers I trained with came over and were laughing at me, not picking the weights off the floor. And it's like, I don't want to blow the disc in my back, so I pick them up from a little bit below, well, probably about halfway up my shins, and I think I had 220 on it. And I said, "Will you try and pick it up?" And he couldn't. So that made me feel better that the person teasing me. And I think that's important, Adam, like deadlifting off the floor or free squatting at 40, unless you're a trained power lifter, I think you're risking a lot. So I use a Smith machine for squats, and I will lift in a rack, but not off the floor for deadlifts. But that's my experience, and I'm an expert just in me, and I think that's the other thing, Adam. Maybe older guys need to become an expert in their own body composition. It'll depend on their diet. You and I have both diet very differently. I'm a strict vegetarian, and you're strictly not. So,
I'm a strict meatitarian.
Yes, and I'll make some comments about that. We'll get into a lot of videos, but I think this first video, Adam, is really important to highlight. For blokes that are 30 to 50, you're not 15 to 25. You have to approach things differently. Don't listen to people that try to give you bad advice. Listen to your own body and make your own judgment calls about what you can and can't do with it. So, and I'm a fitness nerd, but it's not my job. And Adam's a scientific nerd, and it's not his job. But together between us, we both have a valid collection of experiences that I hope we're going to share with a big YouTube audience. And, oh, by the way, I haven't told you the name of our channel yet, Adam. I should just tell you.
Oh.
I'm proposing we call it Quest for Fit, because I think it's a quest to be fit, and I don't think it's not about a destination. Being fit's about a journey, and that might sound like a cheesy weight loss ad, but I think it's true. So I don't know about you, but I don't have a destination in mind other than coming second last in a beauty contest. But that's not a destination. That's just part of my journey.
Yeah.
So, are you ever planning on competing, Adam? Should I ask you? Like I am. I want to go into men's physique, 92 kilos, 6'2".
Whoa, what happened then?
I don't know. So anyway, we'll wrap this call up and see how it goes. Can I hear?
All right.
Right. So he's not going to compete? No?
Sorry?
Are you ever going to compete in bodybuilding?
At this stage, I have no inclination to at the moment. That might change. I'm not going to guarantee I never will, but right now at this stage, I'm not interested.
You do pretty well in men's physique or classic physique, the new category.
I'm far from being able to do it. So at the moment, because I'm so far from being able to do it, it's not really in my thoughts. And I haven't made any goals to, and I probably should, to be honest. I probably should set a time and a date for, when I want to look a certain way, because that would help to motivate me, I guess. But at this stage, I'm just... other things are in forefront of my mind. I'm just slowly progressing towards where I want to be in terms of my physique. So,
and we'll record a motivation one coming up soon. But I think that's important, Adam, to finish on that note, is that having a goal helps you get off the couch and helps you get into shape. So we'll speak about that next. And thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, as all the other cheesy YouTube people subscribe.
Subscribe?
Yes, to the channel.
Subscribe.